That's a lie.
Do we?
I think I have a sleeping disorder. I sleep during the day
You
and I
know,
stay
a
awake
lot
at
of
night.
people right now have
Yeah,
sleeping
I
disorders.
think so. But yeah, that disorder has helped me very well because the NBA is played at the right time. But we'll be talking about the NBA and what has happened in Game One of the NBA Finals. Um, we'll also be talking about what happened at the airport in Budapest. I don't, well,
Oh,
who was responsible? Then we'll be talking about the Flying Eagles of Nigeria because they flew. That's
and they
all I can
soared.
say.
Yes.
They got to their destination, which is the semis. So we'll be talking about all of them and more. But before we do that, Zibby, tell us, how can we be a part of Locker Room?
It's pretty easy. You know the WhatsApp number. It's 0809 4440981. And you can also tweet at smooth981. Now, don't forget though, you can catch the live stream up on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Just search for Smooth981 on YouTube and you can even post a comment on that live stream as well.
All right. You didn't even say anything about my hair. What a terrible person you are. You're
I
like
did
all
not
those men
notice.
that don't say things about their wife's hair. I've been shaking my head since. Anyway, good morning. We are not talking again. Let me just talk to the people
Tega,
that
I'm
are
so
watching.
sorry.
No, we're talking to the people that are watching.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right.
Locker room people, apart from Zibby.
The headlines. Flying Eagles beat Argentina to soar into quarterfinals. Nikola Jokic triple double power nuggets past Heat in game one of the NBA Finals. Mark Verstappen thinks Red Bull could win every race this season. Rod Swatek gained momentum at French Open as Sinner exits. And Man United desperate to stop City's treble march in unique final. Anthony Taylor, PGMOL condemns abuse directed at Europa League final referee. Benzema coy on Real Future. At the moment, I'm in Madrid. It doesn't get more coy than that, does it? Messi to play last game for PSG on Saturday, and this is according to Gaultier.
Exactly. So he's mentioned that everybody's moving to Saudi Arabia. I've told you I'm looking for work in Saudi Arabia.
Let's go
As
there.
it is, there's so much money on the table. What they're offering Karim Benzema, what they're offering Lionel Messi. I'm just telling you, those two people, they obviously is that they don't have women in their lives, or they don't have African women in their lives.
I
It's
know.
very clear because
Obviously.
they look. You put that kind of money on the table, the African woman will be like, "Have you won World Cup?
Deuces.
Have you won Champions League? Why are we still here? Why are we not there by now?" We'll talk about all of that, but let's start with what happened with the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Yeah.
Now, the Flying Eagles sent host Argentina out of this year's FIFA Under 20 World Cup. Yes, after recording a 2-0 win in Wednesday's quarterfinals.
Yes, so huge one, and this is what I was saying, that it was going to be a tough task, but it's not impossible, and it absolutely wasn't impossible. In fact, Argentina played a brilliant first half. Like I said, they have some really good players, and if any scout knows that is what their onions or what their salt, they would take some of those players. Romero is one player that somebody should just take and put in his back pocket right now because that guy is a star. Infantino is another person. Another friend of mine on mentioned Redondo, and that's true. He's also a fantastic footballer. But that Argentine team didn't come out to make the effort. They had about 20 something chances at goal, only four on target. Nigeria had four shots at goal.
Wow.
Well, we eventually ended up with six, but at the time we scored that one goal, we had only four shots. We're just like, we're very conservative, very effective, very clean game, but it was a brilliant defensive, I would say, performance by the Flying Eagles. First half, Argentina dominated possession, they created chances, but it was like every time they got to that final ball to take the shot, there was always a green jersey stopping them, and that was it. It was the Nigerians playing brilliant defensively that frustrated Argentina. And then when they got their one opportunity, they scored a goal, and Argentina came out again looking for more goals, and then Nigeria scored in the added time of the game. But it was a brilliant display by the Flying Eagles. A little cleaner and more comfortable for the Flying Eagles that I thought it would be. So yes, the host and the six-time champions of this tournament are out.
Goodbye.
And our next opponent is South Korea.
Okay.
All right.
Nikola Jokic got a triple double in his finals debut. Jamal Murray scored 26 points, and the Nuggets had very little trouble with the cold shooting Miami Heat on the way to a 104-93 win in Game 1 on Thursday
I
night.
think the first half of this show will just be about some teams' dominance. Because after we finish Nigeria's brilliant display, let's go over to Denver Nuggets. They're playing at home. It's their first final as a franchise in the playoffs. After they swept the LA Lakers, so they face a Miami Heat in Denver. Now, the one thing you know about Denver is they have a higher altitude. So every time people come there, they'll be like, "Can you breathe?"
Oh.
We're about to choke the oxygen out of you. You'd see the fans say things like that. But Miami Heat have been there a couple of days, so just to help them acclimatize to the altitude. They got on the court, however, and they were blown away because from jump off, Denver Nuggets always look like a point ahead and a defense better. So it was always going to be a tough one for them. Now, this is the Miami. I don't write Miami Heat off after one game. I don't write any team off after one game, but it was a complete brilliant performance by Denver Nuggets. Everybody was putting in a shift. When Jokic wasn't scoring, he was creating assists. When he wasn't scoring, it was Jamal making buckets. And when Jamal wasn't making buckets, it was Caldwell Pope making buckets. And when it wasn't Caldwell Pope making buckets, it was Porter Jr. So everybody for Miami Heat, everything was flowing. Oh, sorry, for Denver Nuggets, everything was flowing on their end. But for the Heat, the only person that really got going, you could tell that his juices were flowing, was Bam Adebayo. Unfortunately, what he did offensively, he couldn't replicate defensively because, like I said, there was so much shooting from the Denver Nuggets. So if you guarded one person well, the other person was left open to make good shots. Tough one, tough game one. They led by as much as 22 points at some point in the game, but it ended up being a very comfortable game one for them. Game two is also going to be played at their home court, and it looks like they're going to dominate there. But the question is, can they win 4 games against this Miami side that know how to, come with the results when they need it? That will be the question. But brilliant performance tonight by Denver Nuggets.
Okay. And Max Verstappen says it looks like Red Bull could win every race this season, but insists that it is very unlikely to happen.
All right. So because if you're talking about pace alone, on the pace alone, Red Bull is a year and a day ahead of everybody else. And so on pace alone, they're the fastest car. You can't catch them. We've had 6 races this season. Red Bull has won all 6 races. So it's not like it's not even a permutation at this point in time. It's reality. Other constructors can see that Red Bull is ahead of them. But ultimately things can come down to play in a race on a race day. So there could be reliability issues. Your engine could catch fire. There could be a crash. And there could be strategy calls. Whatever it is, it can happen to make it that Red Bull will not win. But going by pace alone, really, it's a dominant performance by Red Bull. People are beginning to say, "Oh, this F1 is boring." Well, there's always been that one dominant car, and then the rest of the contenders. It's just that Red Bull has just found a sweet spot between not just a great car but also great strategy, and so they turn out being winners all the time. This weekend in Barcelona, we expect them to dominate again. Their car is still the best on the track. I think what the new thing people would want to see is what the upgrades that Mercedes have brought could do to Mercedes, because we couldn't really get to see it in Monaco because of the way the circuit is there. But with Barcelona, it gives them a little more room for them to show what the upgrades can bring. I think that's the only new thing that we want to see. Can Mercedes now come into play, challenge maybe Ferrari and challenge Aston Martin? Those are the questions we're asking. But about Red Bull's dominance, there's no question about it. In fact, chances are they've already written Red Bull as the winner of the race this weekend. They're just waiting for which name of the Red Bull they should put there.
Right. All right, fourth seed Casper Rudd and holder Iga Swiatek stayed on course to reach consecutive finals at the FO, which is the French Open.
Yes, so huge one. Iga Swiatek is still not playing brilliantly though. It's not fluent. Yeah, she's still begling people, even if she's struggling in the first set. Yeah, she's struggling, but she's begling people. I don't understand how that girl works. But her serve, I think they're doing something to her serves. I think they're trying to uncomplicate her serves, and because she's learning it in the middle of tournaments, it's now complicated. Because like her first service motion from the last year and the year before, it wasn't fluid. And then this one looks like a struggle. It doesn't have enough I think they're trying to reduce the height, but so that she can hit it at an angle and get a good angle for her. But it doesn't carry enough pace. So if you read her serves, you can return easily, and that's where her struggle with her service game is. But as much as she's struggling, she's still winning her matches, and she has a lot of points to defend here because she's defending champion here, so she has to at least win it again to keep all her points. Because Sabalenka is right behind, and Sabalenka so far has had a brilliant season. And if she loses early and Sabalenka wins, Sabalenka could become world number one. So that's what's on the line for her. On the men's side again, brilliant performances by the big names so far. Apart from Yannick Sinner, Yannick Sinner served for the match. He had 2 match points yesterday. Served for the match. Unfortunately, he didn't finish the job, and Altmaier came back and won him in the fifth set, and it was such a brilliant win. Altmaier was crying, and like if everybody was that was watching, we all had tears in the eyes because it's like he's put in the work so far, and he's seen all his other mates, his other colleagues go on to achieve big things. He's seen Alcaraz as young as he is dominate. He's seen Yannick Sinner, become world number 8, and he's just wondering, what am I doing wrong? So he gets the opportunity to win a big match on a big court in a Grand Slam, and the tears just couldn't stop flowing. It was beautiful to see the human side, of the athlete. But yeah, French Open is still giving us, interesting things. But also something again happened yesterday. Taylor Fritz and the crowd. So the French crowd will always pick who to support, and they will support loudly and proudly. Unfortunately, Taylor Fritz was on the receiving end. And they booed him. Even after he won, they were still booing him. And people say, yes, the French crowd needs to stop. I'm just like, it's the French crowd. It's what's going to happen. At the US Open, they support the US players like that. At the Australian Open, it's the same thing with Australian players. You will see that happening. Unfortunately, we can't have a Grand Slam in every country. So, so some people will always be without that. But there were players that transcended that. Pete Sampras, Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal in some places, but definitely Roger Federer. Roger Federer, you could be French playing in your village in France, and they'll be supporting Roger Federer. He was the one guy. And ironically, he's from Switzerland.
I know. The neutral nation.
The neutral nation.
All right, let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. You can also post a comment on our live stream on YouTube. Can you see me wave?
Can you see me dance?
Blow kiss. Do stay with us. The locker room continues shortly.
People are trying. But you know what? This is what I would love. Yeah, but I'll go down in 2 minutes to go and enjoy something. I'm the one that even put on that.
Nescafe 3-in-1. Just add water and enjoy the blend of coffee, creamer, and sugar.
I am hungry. I want to eat corn and coconut.
You start strong and make every morning.
That's what I want. I want boiled corn and coconut.
Start strong, finish strong.
But I can't be eating coconut outside my house.
Yeah, because you have to wash it, no?
No, because I fart after I take.
Oh, really?
Oh! Hey!
Warning!
I didn't know that I have allergies to some nuts. So if I eat a lot of almond nuts, my nose swell.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I eat almond nuts, my nose here swells. If I eat groundnuts, I break out. But I love nuts.
Human beings, you do what is all right for you.
And then if I eat coconut, I fart.
Wow.
Like it's mad. You know how when people eat Indian food, they fart. That's how my coconut works for me. So I don't eat it outside.
Oh my goodness.
But right now I want.
You're inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Tega and Zibby and you, of course. I mean, you, yeah, on the live stream, you.
You didn't hear anything. Whatever was said during the break, it wasn't me.
It wasn't her. It wasn't her.
All right, so let's come back with a few messages before we go into the story. Uncle Sam just says,
Tega. Don't mind them. Your hair is very beautiful. Right on. Oh, thank you, Uncle Sam.
You. Tell Zibby. And Ibukun says,
Okay, Tega, hail our boys that beat Argentina now. Who should we look out for in the Flying Eagles? You've talked about Romero, Infantino, and Redondo. Ade Urobo. Lol. They owe you commission if they get a good transfer.
Those guys, they have brilliant players in Argentina.
And with all their brilliance, we conquered.
Brilliant attacking players. It's not because we don't play brilliant individuals. We play a brilliant team. It's two different
Oh,
things.
right.
Yes. So if Novak Djokovic were playing on a team, like a football team, you will not see his how dominant he is because
That is true.
he's dependent on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like Europa League now, Roma scored for themselves and against themselves and lost the title.
Wow, that is true.
All right, so let's go to football now. Now that we are here, I think we start from the FA Cup and then we take it from there.
All right, now all roads from Manchester lead to Wembley Stadium on Saturday for the first ever FA Cup final between the city's arch rivals, a fitting climax to the domestic season and a clash loaded with significance for both clubs.
Yeah, and Eric Ten Hag saying he's going to try his best to do what he can do, and I completely agree with him. You have to say these things. Truth be told, that on paper, some teams may be better than you, and they may have the best individuals, but there's a sport saying, yes, they have an advantage, but they still have to win the game. And that's what it comes down to. They may have an advantage in the quality of players that they have Manchester City, and they may have an advantage in the form of players that they have Manchester City, and they have the extra motivation of trying to win the treble and being serial winners. However, on the day, can they deliver? Anything can happen on that day, and that's the hope that Manchester United have, that maybe on that day we'll come out brilliantly, we'll execute a perfect plan, and then end up with the trophy. And that's all that they can hope for, and that's all they can work towards. Because if you give up before you even play the match, and then it's done. Because when you look at the opposition, when you look at the coach that they have on the bench, if you look through his resume, you see trophies all the way from Spain to Germany to England. You follow that through to the players, and you see a player that is scoring how many goals in a season, and he's only 22. That's the guy you're going to score up against. And you on your own side, you have a shaky defender that people are saying you need to make a decision to move on. You want to give up early, but football still has to be played in 90 minutes or 95 minutes, or however long it's going to take, has to be played. And it is your job in that minute to say, yes, I know you're taller, yes, I know you're bigger, but I have my smooth stones, and I'm going to sling one, and maybe the giant will fall. And that's what Manchester United have to do. It's a miracle now. It's going to have to be, if they're going to score up against Manchester City and win, that is going to be a miracle of biblical proportions. But that's what they're going to have to do on the day. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the refereeing body PG Mall says it's appalled by the unjustified and abhorrent abuse directed at Anthony Taylor in Budapest following Wednesday's Europa League final.
Yeah. So let's start from the match. Now, here's what was interesting about the match. There was not one moment in that game where you saw a blatant wrong call, like an absolute ha. There's some howlers that they'll make you be like, till you die, you never forget. Yes, Anthony Taylor gave a penalty that ended up not being a penalty, and thanks to VAR, that call was reversed. But there was no major issue. Every issue that happened, you'd be like, oh, I've seen it given and I've seen it not given. So there was nothing absolutely out of this world that you could point a finger and say that moment is what turned the game around. But you can understand that when you've lost the final, tempers flare, and it was an ill-tempered final, and it was both benches. The referee had to come several times to give yellow cards to people that were sitting on the bench. Yeah, because
this is interesting.
Yeah, because they were contesting calls from the bench. Players and managers, and it was both benches. Before you start saying, oh, it's only Jose Mourinho, it was both benches, that got cards and got warnings and got a talking to from the referee. So it was an ill-tempered final, and it was a fiercely contested one. Unfortunately, the team that set out to be the most defensive-minded team was the only team that scored from open play twice. Unfortunately, one was in the back of their own net. But yeah, They were the only team that scored in open play, Roma. And Roma could have gotten a second. In fact, I think after they scored the first goal, if they had gotten that second goal, that goal by Spinazzola, it would have been a brilliant one. But they didn't take advantage of the few chances they had, and they were soaking in pressure from Sevilla. And unfortunately, eventually one gave way. Mancini put the ball in the back of his net. Extra time, and we got down to penalties. And down to penalties, I would say this: Sevilla played brilliant penalties. And people can argue about how Jose Mourinho started with defenders and was going to finish up with strikers. His strategy for the penalty take is balderdash. I've seen Roma take penalties throughout the season. They've missed penalty after penalty. So the minute it came down to a penalty shootout, you were almost certain that Sevilla was going to win, because Roma has, throughout the season, different penalty takers have missed penalties.
Wow.
So they were not going to have the upper hand. And they get down to the penalty shootout. Of course, they lost to Sevilla and they lost the trophy. So Jose Mourinho lost his brilliant European final record, and Sevilla kept theirs, 7-7. Especially in this Europa Cup. This is now their league. And tempers were flared. Jose Mourinho goes he gives his medal away. Some people, if you watch the video, he actually gave his medal to a young boy, which he generally does. When he comes second, or even sometimes I've seen him giving away a first place medal before. Yeah, but the report was like Mourinho tosses his medal into the crowd. I was like, no, that's not what happened.
Was that the English media?
Yeah, no, but that was the American media though.
Oh.
My English media also said, but he didn't toss it. He actually tossed it to a boy, because he was a young boy. He did one left and right, and then he tossed it to the boy. So, but he went to the parking lot to go and address Anthony Taylor, which was overboard, and I think UEFA should fine him for that. But the fans now go to the airport and they start to harass Anthony Taylor. First of all, I didn't even know that referees traveled with their families. I thought referees traveled with the team, just them and the team, for safety reasons. I mean, you're doing a risky job. You have to, you have to decide who loses and who wins in a game. Why am I coming with my family? But I didn't. First of all, so I've learned a lesson. Referees travel with their families, but I think it was the fans came there and they were harassing them, and it was really tacky. It was really bad. It was horrible. And again, I think UEFA should fine Roma. However, I also think UEFA should find themselves, because this referee, like I said, is doing a deep job. I've never seen a Wahek Maka in my life before. Do you know who a Wahek Maka is? Do you know why they don't let you know who a Wahek Maka is? Because of safety. Do they let you know who it is?
You gave me an F.
You gave me an F. You don't do that. So for me, the security was like the fact that they knew exactly where to find him, exactly what time we'll be flying, and I understood that some Roma fans would have been going back home so they could have seen him. But that security was too lax. So when UEFA is doing their investigation and handing down fines, they better be handing one down to themselves. Yeah, that was shoddy of them. Yeah, those logistics was shoddy.
Wow. All right, let's talk about Real Madrid's Karim Benzema. Now, he's reluctant to talk about his future, and that has sort of fueled speculation that he could be moving to Saudi Arabia in the close season, and this is coming after 14 years filled with trophies.
All right, so he's won trophies after trophies, and yes, people are saying Florentino Perez wants to keep him, and they hope he stays. Look, but there's money on the table, and you say when I retire, I've made enough money that should help me through retirement. Retirement is a long time, because most in general, you're going to be retiring around 35, 38. So you have till the rest of your life to live. So if you not live to 85, you think that the money you've made is enough, just collect as much money as you can. You never know. So I would say this for Karim Benzema. And this is let me direct my speech to Karim Benzema and to Lionel Messi, in case he's trying to do that nonsense of going back to Barcelona. Please, I am very sensible, and so I'm going to give you sensible advice. You have nothing to prove.
You have nothing.
You've conquered Europe. Now it's time to go and conquer the bag. Collect your money. I don't know how to say it.
Yes.
What's that song that they used to sing?
Wake up.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Collect your money.
Yes.
Just collect your money. Don't even waste time. Don't think about it. Don't try to prove to yourself that you're still good enough to play in Europe. Let Luka Modric be doing that. That's his own kettle of fish. You go and collect your money. It's that simple. So I'm going to advise him now. Please move, Benzema. Don't listen to anybody that tells you to stay. Don't listen to anybody that tells you that you're still good enough for Europe. You know you're good enough for Europe. You also know you're good enough for 400,000 a week.
Wow. That's an insane amount
That's
of
an
money.
insane amount of money.
Nah.
You're good enough for that too.
Please.
Don't go and do Jackie work till you die.
Speaking of someone who is also good enough for that and more, Lionel Messi will play his last game for PSG against Clermont on Saturday, and this is according to Christophe Gaultier, the coach. Now, he's called on fans to give the Argentina forward a warm send-off.
Yes, so he scored, I think, 21 goals and had 20 assists for the season or competition so far. So he's not had a bad return, but he's Lionel Messi. You know, this is the guy that scored 92 goals in the calendar year. So you come and give us this paltry sum of goals, amount of goals. What is wrong with you? We want more. We want to see the Messi that went to World Cup. You know, that's the expectation. He's fighting against his own reputation, and that's what people are going to hold against him. So yes, you may say that he has not gone to Europe to France to be successful, but he has been successful by regular footballer standard, not just by Lionel Messi standard.
Yes.
But he leaves now, and the coach is saying, look, it's going to be his last game. Whatever anger issues you have against him, whatever reservations, just make it a warm exit for him. Because a lot of I heard one PSG player saying that Lionel Messi came to PSG to use them to train for World Cup. I was like,
wow,
how do people come up with these things? But it looked like it, because Messi was very different at the World Cup. He was delivering every second.
National pride.
With PSG, he used to pick his moments. He'd be like, this month I'm not feeling too well. Wow. I won't deliver. But
so is this the same fans that they had to send security to his house for that are supposed to give him a warm
that's farewell? They're saying, look, because it's his last game, don't boo him. He's still at the end of the day delivered Legon trophy. At the end of the day, because it was his goal that ended the draw that they required to win the championship. So at the end of it, so he's just saying, look, it's his final game. Give him a warm applause. Gaultier should also be telling them to give him a warm applause, because I don't think he's going to be back next season.
Oh wow!
Why would he be back? If you were the one, would you hire him? It's time to talk to Zizou. All right, so let's take your messages to round up this show.
All right, from YouTube, Ibukun says, O'Shea, Tega going biblical for Man United. Remember, we beat them once this season. It's 11 versus 11. Like you said, the best team will win, not the one with the brilliant individuals. Glory, glory, Man United. Mourinho also gives Chelsea Premiership medal to a fan, so people will blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
And let's see. Ladile says, let's be real, Mourinho tossed away that medal. He's too arrogant.
Did you watch the video?
Tinu says, okay, Tinu, wrong shoe. Emeka says, Flying Eagles aside playing tactical football, also have brilliant players. Our defender Benjamin Frederick is one of them. That guy is going places.
That guy is another one.
As for the FA
Sunday
Cup final,
is another one.
Okay. United's tactics will be playing long balls while saying the Lord's Prayer. Last day, I saw videos of Bukayo Saka in Shomolu and Bariga yesterday. Like Karim Adeyemi, he's come to have a taste of fufu. Premier League teams are in trouble next season. Taya says, I don't condone the abuse, but we've witnessed another substandard performance by the English referee. Even with open book VAR, he's still, okay. He should have cancelled Dybala's goal and given a penalty for the handball. Congrats to Sevilla. They really redeemed their season. Big Ben's with oil money. Now that's a well-oiled machine in Saudi land. Please, when is Saka coming to the studio after touring Lagos? He shouldn't leave Nigeria without granting an interview. Tega will make it happen.
No.
Oh, okay.
The itinerary is not a short one.
Okay. Chimabi Victor says, for the Manchester Derby final, that match will be decided in the last minute of the game. Watch and see how this unfolds. Sister Tega. And for Lionel Messi and Karim Mohamed Benzema, kindly move to the next level. Hashtag locker room 981. This is Sheyi Tega Wekobiro. I'm proud of our under 20. They may just win the trophy. Roma, take heart.
All right. And that's it for the show today. So we leave the studio for Zibby. We'll see you on Monday.
All right. Stay with us. Lagos Talk starts off in just about 15 minutes.